चैतान् महाबाहो कारणानि निबोध मे सांख्ये कृतान्ते प्रोक्तानि सिद्धये सर्वकर्मणाम् पञ्चैतानि महाबाहो कारणानि निबोध मे सांख्ये कृतान्ते प्रोक्तानि सिद्धये सर्वकर्मणाम् पञ्चैतानि महाबाहो कारणानि निबोध मे सांख्ये कृतान्ते प्रोक्तानि सिद्धये सर्वकर्मणाम्. Told pancha, five, etani, these, mahabaho, O mighty armed one, karanani, causes, niboda, just understand, me from me, sankhya, in the Vedanta, krutante, in the conclusion, proktani said, siddhaye, for the perfection, sarva, of all, karmanam, activities. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Gopal Jai. O mighty armed Arjuna, according to the Vedanta, there are five causes for the accomplishment of all action. Now learn of these from me. Please repeat. O mighty armed Arjuna, according to the Vedanta, there are five causes for the accomplishment of all action. Now learn of these from me. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. A question may be raised that since any activity performed must have some reaction, how is it that a person in Krishna consciousness does not suffer or enjoy the reactions of work? The Lord is citing Vedanta philosophy to show how this is possible. He says that there are five causes for all activities, and for success in all activity, one should consider these five causes. Sankhya means the stock of knowledge, and Vedanta is the final stock of knowledge. Accepted by all leading acharyas, even Shankara accepts Vedanta Sutra as such. Therefore, such authority should be consulted. The ultimate control is invested in the super soul, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Sarvasya chaham rajasannivishto mattaspritir gnanam apohanam cha vedaicha sarvairahame vedyo vedanta kudveda eva chaham. He is engaging everyone in certain activities by reminding him of his past actions. And Krishna consciousness acts done under his direction from within yield no reaction, either in this life or in the life after death. We'll try to understand this verse. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यैश्वरं वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं। रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। So here I'm reading from chapter 18, verse number 13. We'll try to understand first what this chapter 18 is all about, at least high level summary. And then the connection from chapter 17 to 18. And then we'll look at the sections and this verse context, what exactly the application aspect. And we'll look at the most wonderful pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and also from Lord Krishna's Dwarka Leela, and from Jagannath Puri Leela. We'll see some of the pastimes. Let's see how much time we have. Yeah, so first, the 18th chapter is basically in summary. 18th chapter and second chapter more or like summary, conclusion of all the sections of Bhagavad Gita. So 18th chapter, first 6 chapters, stress was given to devotion service. Yoginam api sarvesham adgate antaratma. So the same way, one who always thinks of me within himself is the best. That's what the first 6 chapters conclusion is. At the end of 6th chapter, we'll see the 6.47. That is the basic. And then middle 6 chapters, we all know it's starting with bhakti. pure devotion service and its nature and activity are discussed. Now, in the third six chapters, which is the last six chapters, starting with material nature, or prakriti, material nature, and enjoy and consciousness. So, the starting with knowledge, renunciation, activities of the material nature, and transcendental nature and devotion service are described. In this way, to conclude, all in all, either first section you look at, middle section you look at, last section you look at. Either way, the bhakti is the main predominant thing mentioned throughout Bhagavad Gita. So all acts should be performed in conjunction with the Supreme Lord, represented by the words Om Tat Sat. That was the 17th chapters, last few verses, concluding with Om Tat Sat. So, which indicate that the Supreme Person must be, everything must be offered, whatever we may do should be to please him, to offer everything back to Guru and Krishna. That is the conclusion of this, all the 18 chapters specifically. Now let's look at, that is the all in all in this 18th chapter we are looking at. Now the 17th, the connection is 17th chapter, verse number 25. Krishna is speaking about the results, giving up the attachment to the results. Taditi anabhisandhaya palam yajna tapa kriya dana kriyascha vividha kriyante moksha kankshibhi. Without desiring fruitive result, one should perform various kinds of sacrifice, penances, and charity with the word tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from the material entanglement. So that was the main point Lord Krishna is stressing. So now the Arjuna has a question of here, because Krishna spoke also in the fourth chapter and also in the 12th chapter, Sarva Karma Phala Tyagam. Now he has a question: what is exactly this renunciation? Is it sannyas or is it tyaga? So what exactly here Krishna is trying to tell? So that's why that arised question in Arjuna, and then Arjuna is asking in the beginning of this chapter. Please tell the difference between the sannyas order, renounce order, and tyaga, renunciation, or giving up tyaga. What is the difference? That's how the question came in this. That is the connection from chapter 17 to chapter 18. Now, if you look at the chapter 18, the first 1 to 12, it is a summary of all chapters as I mentioned. So, the first section, Krishna is talking about Karma Yoga. First six chapter summary is giving 1 to 12. So, where someone who is not renounced, how he accrues the reactions. And then sannyasis doesn't get it. So, that's why Arjuna is asking this question of how one can work without getting attached to reactions. So, that's how that second section begins, which is 13 to 17 or 13 to 18, Jnana Yoga. Last six chapters are concluded. First 12 verses are talking about Karma Yoga, first six chapters summary. And then now the second section is 13 to 18. Today's verse is in this Jnana Yoga, last six chapters. But the main fundamental point is how to perform an action on the point of Jnana. Even further, if we decipher, one must act without false ego. And that is the point we have to take home. And that means we have to give up false ego and act on the real ego. That means one must give up the doership. I am not the doer. That's why Krishna is stressing here five causes. Why does he need to speak about five causes? That means we are thinking we are the doers. So that is where the problem. That's why Krishna is stressing. That is the main reason why living entities in this material world. Ichcha dvesha samutvena dvandva mohena bharata. Desiring separately enjoyment from the Lord and thinking that and duality. Yeah, Ichcha and dvesha, enviousness from the Lord. Why he should be the master? I should be the master and enjoyer. So both desiring separate enjoyment and also enviousness from the master. So these two things are caused us to be in this material world. So that's why in this specific verse, Krishna is speaking, 13th chapter mainly, the 13th verse, all the way till 18th, is specifically stressing on this point of whenever you do the work, you must have this transcendental knowledge and you should give up this doership mentality. You are not the enjoyer. We are the medium servant. Our constitution position must be always put into the central focus of day-to-day activities. So that is the main point here. Now, that is the second section. In the next section, Krishna talks about three modes of material nature, which is very, very important. 19 to almost 40 or plus verses yoga ladder gradually is bringing from karma to karma yoga, niskam karma, all those things in the on the platform of three modes of material. That is the section title. Then gradually Krishna is talking about bhakti, and then last section is talking about surrender to Krishna with Brahma Nishta, Iswar Nishta, Bhagavan Nishta, where Brahma Bhuta platform, Brahman realization, then further is Paramatma realization, then Bhagavan realization, and then the last section, 67 78 conclusion. So, in this way, this chapter 18 is laid out basically Karma Yoga to Gnana Yoga to Bhakti, and then concluding basically. So, that now let's look at when we look at deeply in this 13th verse, where it is Krishna is stressing on this point of what is that? 13th verse. Yeah, oh mighty armed Arjuna, according to the Vedanta, there are five causes of for accomplishment of all action. Now learn of this from me. So why is he speaking of these five causes of action? And the next verse, obviously, Krishna is speaking where he is mentioning Adhisthanam Tata Karta Karanam Cha Pratak Vedam Pratak Chesta Daivam Evatra Vividacha Pratak Chesta Daivam Evatra Panchamam. The place of action, which is nothing but the body, and the worker, the soul, and the instrument, the senses, Pratak with different kinds of endeavors. But the ultimate cause is all these are not the main cause. Ultimate cause is the Supreme Lord. If Supreme Lord is not willing, then however we may try, you may have best wonderful place for a business to open, you have best people in the world, and you have money, everything you have, and you have great, you endeavored greatly to put together wonderful business. But if Krishna is not willing, it's not going to work. So that's why Krishna must be, that is the prime factor out of these five. So that means we are not the doer. We may endeavor for it, but we should not have this doership mentality. We should not have a false ego. Because of me, I got this result. Because of me, I'm able to do this. So no, without the intervention, without the mercy of the Supreme Lord, we can't do any activity. That means it is because of the ignorance. That's why clearly Srimad Bhagavatam talking about one must one must give up this and develop love. Right now, the we have natural love for others, but the love must be placed in Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Until that point, until you love Krishna, there is no way we can deliver ourselves. The Lord Sukadeva is instructing his sons. Evam mana karma vasam prayunkte avidya atmana vadiyamane. Because of the gross ignorance, प्रीतिर्न यावत् मयि वासुदेवे न मुच्यते देहयोगेन तावत्. Until we develop love for Krishna, there is no way we can get out from this material world. You can do whatever you want, but there is no possibility. When the living entity is covered by the mode of ignorance, he does not understand the individual living being and the supreme living being because his mind is subjugated by fruitive activity. Therefore, until one has love for Lord Vasudeva, who is none other than myself. This is Lord Vasudeva speaking, because non-different, Lord Vishnu, is certainly not delivered from having to accept a material body again and again. Now, the question may arise: how will you develop love? Pritirna yavat mai Vasudevi. So until you develop this, then there is no way. You keep repeating births, and human birth itself is not guaranteed. If you don't perform Bhagavad Arpita Nishkam Karma or Bhakti Yoga, there is no way you will get human birth. There is no guarantee. But if one is performing Bhakti Yoga, then at least the guarantee is there. Suchanam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brasta Vijayate in the 6th chapter, 45th verse or so. Now we have to look at Narada Muni is instructing on this point how the living entity is being conditioned. He's thinking that a man may carry a burden on his head. When he feels it to be heavy, too heavy, he sometimes gives relief to his head by putting a burden on his shoulder. In this way, he tries to relieve himself of the burden. Sometimes we will feel, oh, it's too much, too difficult. Let me go for some vacation. Or so let me take this intoxicant. Or let me go here and watch this. We feel some, this some lamentation or something is there, some relief we are getting. We are thinking we are changing from one to another, but we are thinking this is going to solve the problem. But neither of them is solving the problem. So that's Narada Muni is giving this example. In this way, it's trying to relieve himself of the burden. However, whatever process he devises to counteract the burden does nothing more than putting the same burden from one place to another. You who are free from all sinful act, no one can counteract the effects of fruitive activity simply by manufacturing a different activity devoid of Krishna consciousness. All such activity is due to our ignorance. When we have troublesome dream, we cannot relieve it with a troublesome hallucination. One can counteract a dream only by waking. Similarly, our material existence is due to our ignorance and illusion. Unless we awaken to Krishna consciousness, we cannot be relieved of such dreams. For the ultimate solution to all problems, we must awaken to Krishna consciousness. Now, how will you awaken? Nargam is speaking. Sometimes we suffer because we see a tiger in a dream or a snake in a vision, but actually there is neither a tiger nor a snake. Thus, we create some situation in a subtle form. This is a subtle body, mind, intelligence, possible, and suffer the consequences. These sufferings cannot be mitigated unless we are awakened from our dream. Same way, the real interest of the living entity is to get out of the nescience that causes him to endure repeated birth and death. The only remedy, this is important, the only remedy is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead through his representative. Unless one renders devotion service unto Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva, one cannot possibly become completely detached from this material world, nor can be possibly manifest real knowledge. Its point is very clear. This is Narada Muni, Vyasdev's son. So, Vyasdev's spiritual master, Lord Brahma's son, a great spiritual master of Dhruva Maharaj and Valmiki Muni, and so many disciples, wonderful disciples. Now further is instructing, O best of the king, one who is faithful, who is always hearing the glories of Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is always engaged in the culture of Krishna consciousness and in hearing the Lord's activities, what will happen? Very soon becomes eligible to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. Anybody here want to see the Lord face to face? Then we must follow. So अचिराद एव राजर्षे स्याद अच्युत कथाश्रयः शृण्वता श्रद्धानस्य नित्यदा स्याद अदीयता. That is utmost attention we must pay to hear the glories of Supreme Lord. Among whom? And where you should hear. Yatra Bhagavata Rajan Sadavo Vishad Ashaya Bhagavad Gunan Katana Sravana Vyagra Chetasa Tasmin Mahan Mukharita Mahabhadita Charitra पीयूष शेष सरिता परिता स्रवंति ते ये पिबंति आवृषो नृपगाद कर्णै तान्न स्पृशन्ति असन तत्वृत्य भयशोक मोह तद भयशोक मोह. My dear king, in the place where pure devotees live, following the rules and regulations, and thus purely conscious and engaged with great eagerness in hearing and chanting the glories of Supreme Personality of Godhead, in that place, if one gets a chance to hear their constant flow of nectar, which is exactly like the waves of a river, one will forget the necessities of life, namely hunger and thirst, and become immune to all kinds of fear, lamentation, and illusion, that means including false ego. Important purport Prabhupada writing. The cultivation of Krishna consciousness is possible where great devotees live together and constantly engage in hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. In a holy place like Vrindavana, there are many devotees constantly engaged in chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord. If one gets a chance to hear from a pure devotees in such a place, allowing the constant flow of river of nectar to come from the mouths of pure devotees, then the cultivation of Krishna consciousness becomes very easy. When one is engaged in constantly hearing the glories of the Lord, he certainly rises above the bodily conception. When one is in the bodily conception, he feels the pangs of hunger and thirst, fear, lamentation, illusion. But one is engaged in hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, he transcends the bodily conception. The word Bhagavat Gunana Katana Sravana Vyagra Chetasa meaning always eager to find the place where the glories of the Lord are being heard and chanted is significant in this verse. A businessman is always very eager to go to a place where business is transacted. Similarly, a devotee is very eager to hear from the lips of liberated devotee. Hundreds of verses, hundreds of verses. It is always talking about Mahat Sevam Dwaram Ahur Vimukte. You have to hear, take the association advanced devotee, pure devotee, and hear from them constantly, regularly. Every day, we can't miss it. Again and again. Prasangam ajram pasam atmano kavayo vidu. Sayeva sadhu suklu. Mokshadvaram apavratam. This is the only way. There is no other way. You can cry about it, jump up and down, nothing is going to happen. Without this process, without this specifically Mahatseva, pure devotees association, without that, there is no way we can get out from this material world. Guaranteed. So everywhere it is talking about Bhagavad Gita, you look at Srimad Bhagavatam, you look at Nectar Devotion, you look at Chaitanya Charitamrita, you look at Narada Pancharatra, you look at Upanishad, you look at, same point is being repeated again and again. Stress is given. That means in this chapter 18, this second section, clearly specifically talking about don't give up your nitya karma. You may, and don't give up naimitya karma. What is nitya karma? Nitya karma means chanting the holy name of the Lord, hearing the glories of the Lord, remembering the Lord's lotus feet and Guru, and serving the Lord. These are the nitya karma. Every day supposed to be done. Your 3 or 4 o'clock or 5 to 6, 5 to 7 is only belongs to Krishna and you. I belong to Krishna and Krishna is mine. It doesn't belong to anybody else. There is no activity should be done during that time. It is exclusive time for only for Krishna, nothing else. Our life should be turned towards like that. The planning should be done and activity should be done only for that purpose, nothing else. Then we can perfect. Otherwise, this ignorance cannot be removed. Unless we hear attentively, then where is the possibility? That is the same point. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is instructing Sanatana Goswami. You have this fruitive active mentality. If you want to give up, Tara Madhya Sarvasreshta Nirantara Namaloilo. Tari Krishna Premadana. Otherwise, there is no possibility. Nirantara. That means always. First, if you execute in mode of goodness, then you would start at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. Chanting itself has not a great quality. Once people wake up, quality is different. They remember all your duties, what to be done, everything, all these thoughts will come to your mind. So why that to happen? And try to do even earlier than that. That means you have to sleep early, day before. You have to plan it. If you think that Krishna is your priority in life, then we must plan it. Then only you can do Nitya Karma properly. If Nitya Karma cannot be done properly, forget about Naimitya Karma, also same thing will happen. Naimitya Karma means occasionally, that means Ekadasis, Janmashtami, Gaur Purnima, this coming March 6. What are we going to do about it? That means there should be a plan of action 1 month before, few weeks before. Then you can do something about it. Otherwise, those also will go away just like that. So that's why these Nitya Karma, Naimitya Karma cannot be given up. What is sannyas? What is tyaga? The whole chapter is all about that. Sannyas means renouncing any material activities, kamya karma. Anything you have a desire, I have this desire, I want to enjoy this or I want to enjoy that. Those ones to be renounced. Rather, you utilize everything for Krishna's pleasure. Activities in relation with Krishna, engaging in that. So that is what sannyas means. What is tyaga? Tyaga means renouncing, don't be attached to results of any activity, including kama karma. You may perform kama karma, but don't be attached to results. But in sannyas, completely you give up those unwanted activities, those which are materialistic thoughts, materialistic activities. Then we give up those activities. Rather, you dovetail every activity into Krishna's activity. So that's what is being stressed again and again in this. And then Narada Muni is stressing to Prachina Parhi, who's completely, he thought that what he's doing, engaging in fruitive activity, nicely enjoying in this material world, is the greatest thing in this world. Note that, but Narada Muni corrected him. No, what you think is completely wrong. Rather, you are completely in mode of ignorance. That's why you are not able to realize how much suffering you are going through. Then he is giving hundreds of examples, whole chapter. 2 chapters, 3 chapters are there. These instructions to Prachina Vargi. So that's it's very important to understand this point. Taking the shelter of pure devotee and hearing. And we see that instructions here from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We see that. Listen to another wonderful pastimes of the darling son of Sachi Mata. Lord Gauranga revealed his confidential position to his eternal associate, but not to the unqualified. Gaura said, this material world is temporary, and all material pursuits are futile. The devotees then lost themselves in the bliss of chanting the holy names. Chanting his own names, Mahaprabhu became mad with prema, cried in ecstasy, and fell on the ground. At that time, he revealed to his internal associates that he is the supreme personality of Godhead. Holding the seed of a mango, Sri Gaurachandra said, Look, I am going to sow this mango seed and produce a tree. Instantly upon entering the soil, the seed became a flowering tree. Gaura said, see how wonderful it is. My mango tree already has flowers. Within moment, ripe mango fruit appeared. Someone plucked a juicy, fragrant mango and offered it to the Lord. As quickly as the fruit-laden mango tree had come into existence, it disappeared. By manifesting this momentary mango tree, Lord Gauranga showed the potency of Maya, illusory energy of God. Through this episode, Lord taught the nature of attachment. This is what is happening with us day to day basis. Nature of attachment, and the nobody should lament for the material world. Gauranga said, by my energy, this whole material existence was created. Due to ignorance, the mass of people call it their own. Who can cut this strong attachment created by me? There is only one way to conquer this attachment. People should offer the results of their work to me. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructing. Then they may engage their bodies in my service and become free from the material bondage. If one offers everything to Krishna, surely he will attain Krishna in all respects. The Gita, Puranas, Bhagavata states that by pure devotion to Krishna, one will attain Krishna himself. One's life becomes meaningful by dedicating it to God. With a blissful heart, Lochandas described this wonderful pastime of Gaurachandra. One day, Lord Gaura smiled and asked Mukunda Datta, tell me, Mukunda, is it true that you have knowledge of Brahman? This is now, people may think that Jnana Yoga is the topmost. Now you see the instruction. Well, let me quote a verse. The devotee became apprehensive. Lord said, Ramante yogino anante. Yogis always delight in unlimited Lord, who is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge. For this reason, the supreme Brahman, the supreme absolute truth, is also called Rama. Mukunda, you consider worship of the four-armed form of the Lord to be superior, yet you have little knowledge about the two-armed form of God. If you want to obtain the real wealth, you should worship the beautiful two-armed form of Sri Krishna, Syamasundar Krishna, with all your heart. The Shastra say that Narayana is the manifestation of Krishna, not that Krishna comes from Narayana. Mukunda, you should bathe in the Ganga, take the dust from the feet of the Vaishnavas, and start anew your execution of devotion service. The mercy of the devotees is tremendously important. See that mercy of the devotees. Only by Kripa Shakti you can execute devotion service. Not on my own strength. You have to depend on the Guru's strength. Then only. Then Krishna will come running. Puyeta angri renubi. Nirapeksham santam nirvairam sarvabhutesh. Puyeta angri renubi. Is running after the pure devotee's dust. That is Krishna's love for pure devotee. So we should be running towards the pure devotee. Then we will be able to get delivered from this place. Otherwise, there is no possibility. Feeling grateful for Visvambara's kind words, Mukunda replied, my lord, let your lotus feet be the umbrella over my head. Please pour upon me the nectar shower of your service. Do I have any way of telling what is good or what is bad for myself? Covered by ignorance, I can't see, within or without. You are the Lord, the personification of bliss. You are not different from the son of Nanda Maharaj. You are the fountainhead of all incarnation. Satisfied with Mukunda, Lord Gaurahari put his lotus feet on his head. Immediately, Mukunda showed signs of ecstatic love of Godhead. His body manifests intense euphoria with torrents of tears and shivering limbs. In a faltering voice, Mukunda prayed to Gauranga. All glories to the supreme controller and cause of all causes. Interrupting him, Viswambar said, listen, O doctor, stop speculating on the transcendental wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. If you want to live and enjoy the love of Krishna, always, Lord himself is teaching throughout in Bhagavad Gita also. That's why he's quoting Vedanta in this 13th verse. He could have directly said, I am saying this. No, he's first quoting Vedanta. In Vedanta, he's saying this. So that's how Acharya is also present. Prabhupada always talks about philosophy first, always quotes a verse. Because this is the Siddhanta. Unless you understand a tattva, you can, through pastimes, you are not going to go anywhere. First, you have to understand what is the tattva. So, Krishna tattva, Rasa tattva, Bhakti tattva, Jiva tattva, Maya tattva, all these tattvas we have to understand what exactly it means. What is Jiva's position? What is Maya's position? What is Krishna's position? So, how will you attain Krishna? These things must be understood. Not simply hearing pastime is not going to really help us. We have to focus on actually what should be applied in day-to-day basis. That is the most important thing to consider. Listen, O doctor, stop speculating on the transcendental wisdom. If you want to live and enjoy the love of Krishna, then reject the pursuit of jnana, dry speculative knowledge. With your heart full of love, always chant the names of Krishna. You are neglecting to worship the Lord, who is known as Natavara Sekara, the best of dramatic dancers. He has a Syama complexion, glowing like magnificent blue sapphires. He holds a flute in his hand. Falling down on the ground, clutching Gora's feet and weeping, Mukunda said, "Oh, my Lord Visambar, without your mercy, who can cross over the ocean of material existence? Even Brahma, Shiva, and others can't conquer your Maya. I am powerless, the lowest of all. How can I give up my material attachment and surrender unto you? Seeing my distress condition, O embodiment of mercy, please be kind and allow me to serve you." This is Ahaituki Apradata. Which is through Sikshastam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching the same thing. Until now, the treasure of divine love has remained hidden within me. You have so compassionately revealed it. I want to become a bee in order to drink the honey, nectar of your lotus feet. O ocean of mercy, although I am the most vile, please give me the boon. Hearing the pitiful words of Mukund, this should be our crying every day to Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then something could happen in our heart. Otherwise, it's very difficult to give up unwanted things. Lord Gauranga's compassion swelled, his heart bloomed with a joy as he said, "My dear Mukunda, your desire will soon be fulfilled." Srivas Pandit, a pure devotee and intelligent scholar, always worshipped Lord Krishna. He and his brother would also devotedly serve the feet of Vishwambar and the Vaishnavas. Is that always must be serving Vaishnavas, serving the Lord, and hearing in the association of devotees, chanting the holy name of the Lord. And in this way, we can perfect our life. Every day, we should chant the Nam Sankirtan and describe the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Sri Rama was highly devoted to his brother Srivas. Together, they always sang the glories of Hari. Since they were favorable devotees of Lord Gauranga, the Lord enjoyed sporting and dancing in their home. When Prabhu danced there, he looked like a Lord Kapila surrounded by his entourage of sages engaging in transcendental pastimes. In this way, Lord Gaurari played gladly spent the days teaching his many students. One day, a young Brahmana student foolishly said, "That which you call Sri Krishna is actually Maya." Hearing this blasphemy, Gauranga blocked his ears and immediately jumped in the Ganga with all his clothes. Devotees followed suit. Afterward, they loudly chanted Hari Hari. Lord Gauranga said, "This wretched person has contaminated my ears." After saying this, everyone chanted Krishna's holy names over and over. So in this way, you can see that the importance of how chanting the holy names of the Lord. And we see the same thing in the glories of Advaita Acharya also. Same points are mentioned. Before that, I want to read that we must remove this pride. We should be always as a menial servant of Krishna. So this is there in three people. Satyabhama thought that I am the most beautiful. Then Garuda thought I am the great. I am carrying the Lord. So who can, Lord doesn't cannot stay without me. In this way they thought. Then we can see how Lord knows what's going on in the hearts of even though they are close associates. Once it so happened that Satyama was proud and I am so beautiful. What are these other queens? They are all rubbish. Krishna came to know about this and thought this has to be set right. And then Sudarshan Chakra was also very proud. What is Krishna without me? Zero. Then Krishna thought of treating him too. Now Lord came to know about Garuda, that he was becoming very proud. He was fighting with everyone. What do you think of me? I carry Vishnu on my back. Who can compare with me? I am very powerful. Without me, Vishnu is lame. Recognizing this, then Lord devised a plan. He is seated in everybody's heart, Sarvasya Jaham. Garuda came and asked, then he, I'm sorry, he cannot tolerate the pride, so he called for Garuda. Then Garuda came and asked, "Yes, Lord, what can I do for you?" Garuda is Lord's servant. So Lord asked him, "Go to Gandhamala Parvata, Hanuman is staying there. Tell him I want him immediately." Garuda went to bring Hanuman. Then Satyabhama was standing near Krishna. So Krishna said to Satyabhama, "You please go to Rukmini and tell her that she has to sit next to me, that she would wear saris of Sita. She should be Sita today because Hanuman is coming." Satyabhama immediately flared up. "Krishna, what are you talking? Am I not beautiful enough? Why should I tell Rukmini?" So Krishna said, "See, I have told you what to do. Now you do whatever you like." The same story as Arjuna's case. Krishna told Arjuna, "I have told you whole Bhagavad Gita. It is up to you. You want to follow my instruction or you want to do whatever you like. It is up to you. Choice is yours, free will is there. You do." So same thing is happening here. So anyway, Satyabhama thought that she will get ready as Sita and come. She came and sat. Krishna remarked, "It is up to you. I have told what you have to do. Now sit. Doesn't matter." Then Krishna called Sudarshan Chakra. Boom, boom. He came and asked, "What can I do, my lord?" Krishna asked him, "Go to the main gate of the palace and see that nobody enters from there." By that time, Garuda had reached Gandhamadana Parvat and found Hanuman was busy in chanting Lord Rama's names. Garuda said, Lord Ram is remembering you. Just now you have to come. So Hanuman replied, I will come, I am coming. Garuda said, come immediately, otherwise I will carry you. Hanuman said politely, see, you please go, I will be there before you. But Garuda started boasting, no, you don't know how powerful I am. I can carry your father Vayu also. Hanuman is Vayuputra. He thought there is something wrong. He could understand that Lord had sent him to destroy his Abhiman pride. So he said, please don't agitate me. You just go and I am coming. Again he repeated the same thing. Please shut up now, said Hanuman. He caught hold on the tail of Garuda, swung him around and threw him into the ocean of Dwarka. He was disposed of. Now the Hanuman was on the gate to face Sudarshan Chakra. Sudarshan said, hey monkey, what are you doing? Where are you going? Hanuman thought, this is another one. Today our Ram wants to smash all these people. He said to Sudarshan Chakra, in Treta Yuga I have served Lord Rama very sincerely. So Mother Sita has given me the benediction that I can go any time to their inner quarters also. I can see them. So please allow me to go. But Sudarshan was adamant. Hanuman just picked him up, put it into his mouth and walked in. Lord Rama was very pleased to see him. Hanuman paid obeisance and sat down as if he had to say something. Lord Rama asked him, what is the matter, Hanuman? Do you have something to ask? Actually, Satyabhama was sitting beside Lord Rama. So Hanuman asked, my lord, who is this Dasi? Satyabhama frowned and ran immediately, perspiring to Rukmini and told her, your son has come, that monkey's son. Except you, he regards everyone else as Dasi. Then Rukmini came and Satyabhama was disposed of. Then Garuda came with wet body. Krishna asked him the matter. He said, ask Hanuman. Thus Krishna looked at Hanuman. He could see his mouth was red. Krishna asked, what is there in your mouth? Did you eat pan? He opened his mouth and Sudarshan came out with his face hung down. Then Lord smashed the Abhiman of Satyabhama, Garuda, Sudarshan Chakra. So you can understand the how false ego, it is just a lesson. It doesn't mean that Sudarshan is less. It doesn't mean that Garuda is less. It is just to teach us a lesson that however great we may be, if we are not in this position of menial servant of Guru and Krishna, we can fall down anytime. We can fall down. However great we could be. However many years of experience we may have in Krishna consciousness, it doesn't matter. So that's why himself, Sri Prabhupada himself was teaching. Every day in front of the deities is always praying. Let me not be attracted by Maya. Let me always be in the service of Guru and Krishna. That should be our prayer too. We are nothing in front of Sri Prabhupada, in front of these pure devotees. So these lessons are being taught that how to remove our false ego. Whenever we put tilak, whenever we wear dhoti, whenever we are chanting, we should always remember this position. I want to carry this position till my last breath. I want to serve Guru and Krishna as a menial servant. My duty is only to please them. My whole life, let it be turned into like this. That should be our goal. That should be our desire. Then our life will be perfect. Anything else, we don't know what's going to happen. Result will may happen. Result may be favorable, may not be favorable. We don't know. But if we do this, pleasing to Guru and Krishna, that is our main goal, central focus. Then for sure Shastra is guaranteeing. For sure Sri Prabhupada is guaranteeing that you will go back to Godhead because Yasya Prasada Bhagavad Prasado, Yasya Aprasada Nagati Kutopi. If you are not trying to please Guru and Krishna, no destination, no spiritual destination. You may go in this material Brahmanda Brahmite Bhagavad. You may run in this Brahmanda, but we don't know where we are going to go with it. So that's why it is very important to understand this. Why Krishna is speaking these five causes that without me being the supreme cause, you can't do any activity. You may do, but it's not the ultimate perfection. You cannot reach me. You cannot attain me. You cannot develop love for me. You can't see me. You can't engage in rasa with me, nor with my pure devotees. So that's why it's important point to understand. Let's read from Advaita Acharya, see what he says. Blissful feelings arise in my body as I began to describe the wonderful pastimes of Lord Gauranga. One day, Lord Gauranga and Sivas and other associates visited Advaita Acharya. Some devotees sang melodiously, some danced, and some chanted Harinam. Suddenly, Gaurari broke into dance, sending everyone into ecstasy. Inundated with waves of prema, the devotee's body became covered with horripilation. Tears rained forth and they lost their balance. Hiking up his dhoti, Gauranga roared like a lion. Oblivious to the world, his followers rolled on the ground. In this way, Lord Gaurari Sankirtan party joyfully moved to the house of Advaita Acharya. Upon meeting Advaita Acharya, Gauranga and his companions offered dandavats. Sri Advaita returned the respects and said humbly, O Prabhu, You are the crest jewel of millions of Advaitas. They embraced, bathed each other with tears of love. Then they sat down comfortably, and Advaita Acharya said, Prabhu, the atheists say that Kali Yuga is devoid of devotion. Now let them come and satisfy their eyes by seeing my Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Resounding like a cloud, Gaurahari said in a grave voice, besides bhakti, what else is there in Kali Yuga? Rather, bhakti is the only thing available in this material world. One who says there is no bhakti in this age of Kali is a useless person. In no other age has the Lord given so much mercy. At that moment, Srivas Pandit, feeling some trepidation, said to Gaurang, my Lord, one of these atheistic Brahmanas is standing before us. He will surely disrupt our Kirtan festival. He is an atheistic person, overly proud of his learning. Mahaprabhu told that Brahmana, you wicked miscreant, don't come here. The Brahmana hastily retreated. Lord Gauranga then enacted a beautiful pastime, holding Srivas' hand in his one hand, Gadadhar in other. Gauranga looked at the face of his devotee, Sri Raghunandan, and cried. The Lord touched Sri Rama Pandita with his lotus feet. Together with the devotees, Lord Gauranga chanted and danced blissfully before Advaita Acharya. Gaurari danced in the center while the devotees sang joyfully, spun around the Lord. The beautiful Lord appeared just like the Lord of Raja, encircled by his beloved gopis. After the exhilarating Sankirtan performance, Lord Gaurachandra took prasad lovingly prepared by Advaita Acharya and his wife Sita Devi. Sri Advaita offered a Lord a fragrant flower garland and smeared camphor scented sandalwood paste on his body. Advaita thought, now I have received so much mercy from the Lord himself. The followers of Advaita Acharya cried and fell at Gauranga's lotus feet. Vishwambar lifted them up and embraced them tenderly. The Lord and his associates stayed there singing and dancing for a few days before returning home. At home, Mahaprabhu enjoyed discussing Krishna consciousness with his devotees. Vishwambar said, Krishna is the only Lord of creation. He is the soul of all. To demonstrate the process of creation, the Lord extended his arm and repeatedly opened and clenched his fist. Listen, the Lord continued, the truth of the Lord's creation can only be understood when one is absorbed in devotion. Although it is difficult to understand, I am trying to describe this so that the conditioned souls may obtain liberation from the material existence. Without being liberated, one can't understand Krishna. See my five fingers. One is covered with honey, other four smell bad. You would gladly lick the finger and smeared with honey, yet you would reject the other four. In the same way, liberated soul will accept the Lord and leave everything else behind. After passing briefly, Gauranga again delivered his mercy. There is nothing except Krishna Bhakti. Through Bhakti, one can know Lord Krishna, who is the essence of all things. One's devotion will become steady when one realizes this. He will quickly attain causeless devotion for Lord Krishna. Then Prabhu meditated on Krishna's lotus feet while repeatedly chanting Hari Hari, Hari Hari. Then Prabhu Vishwambar described the blissful Vrindavan Leela of Radha Shyamsundar. In the middle of Vrindavan forest, Radha and Shyama sit in the beautiful throne in the center of a jeweled inlaid temple. They are surrounded by the gopis, peacocks, cuckoos, doves, parrots, and we sing sweetly. Sri Vrindavana is full of fragrant flowers and is encircled by the Yamuna river. It is so attractive and captivating that even Lakshmi Devi becomes eager to visit. When Lakshmi saw Sri Vrindavan, she became thrilled with ecstasy. Her eyes became red as if intoxication. She cried streams of tears, and her body filled with horripilation. Due to love, she cried, laughed, sang, and danced. While saying this, Vishwambar's throat became choked up. He ended his talk saying, with their transcendental qualities, the devotees purify the three worlds. The Lord then danced joyfully, inspiring his associate to join in rapture of Harinam Sankirtan. Thus, Lord Gauranga happily lived among his devotees on the banks of Ganga in Navadvip. One day, Advaita Acharya came to Navadvip to visit Vishwambar. Mahaprabhu, however, had gone to the house of Srivas Pandit. Anticipating his quick return, Advaita made preparation for bath and worship. In Shiva's house, Lord Gora offered flowers in worship to the club like stick. At that time, Lord told everyone with a voice of delight, I worship this Gada club to destroy the miscreants who offend my devotees. Using this club, I punish such atheists. There is one rogue who had offended my devotees, and for this offense, he will suffer from leprosy for many lives. Then he will go to hell and become a stool eating pig. With this club, I will kill that person along with his followers. I want to go to the forest, but this place has become a vast forest. Here, one man is like a tiger, one man is like a rock, another one is like a blade of grass or a tree. Some people act just like a jungle beast. For this reason, I call this place Mahavana, a great forest. Knowing that Advaita Acharya had arrived in Lord's home, Gaurahari decided to return. Advaita came before Visambara and gave gifts and offered respects by lying prostrate at his feet. Lord Gauranga caught Advaita Acharya's hand and said, "Only for you I have descended to this world. You held my lotus feet on your head and cried and offered tulsi manjaris to me. Being a pure devotee, you summoned me with your loud cries. Because of your love for me, everyone has now received my mercy." Sitting on a dais, Gauranga ordered Advaita Acharya to dance. Advaita Acharya, greatest of all Brahmanas, stepped exuberantly while simultaneously singing Dasavatar Stotra. Srivas Pandit and other devotees overcome with prema joined Advaita Acharya in Sankirtan. Srinivas said, "My lord, I have a question, but I hesitate to ask it. Yet I am anxious to know the answer. Is Advaita Acharya your devotee?" Lord Gaurari's face turned red with anger as he scolded Srivas. "Both Uddhava and Akrura are very dear to me, but you think that Advaita Acharya is less than them? In all of Bharatavarsha, you will not find a devotee of mine like Advaita Acharya. You ignorant Brahmana, now listen. Advaita Acharya, the king of the Vaishnavas, is my devotee and is my very soul. He is the master of the creation who has descended just to deliver the people of Kali Yuga. The Shastras say he is Mahavishnu. O Bhaktavata Srivas, now you should understand the exalted position of Advaita Acharya. With a sincere heart, you should always serve and worship him." Srivas listened silently and soberly to Mahaprabhu's instruction. Gaurahari continued, "Srivas, don't cultivate jnana. If I ever see you doing this, I won't give you love of Krishna. By ignoring karma and gnana, you will get Krishna prema. Knowing this, don't take shelter of karma and gnana." Srivas replied, "O Lord, please bless me to forget the mundane pursuit of karma and gnana." Murari Gupta said, "Visambar, I don't know anything about speculative knowledge." Gauranga said, "If you really want to know it, then you should learn from Advaita Acharya. But I think you should just be sincere and worship Krishna Chandra with a pure heart. Compared to Bhakti, Mukti, the goal of Gnana, is insignificant." On hearing this, assembled devotees became blissful. They vowed within their heart to execute the Lord's order. The devotees danced and sang in such a divine madness that the demigod became astonished by the display. Such are the wonderful pastimes of Lord Gauranga's preaching love of God in the land of Nadia. His eyes blooming red lotus flowers dot here and there like maddened bees. His glance overflows with the nectar of compassion. His face glowing full moon causes all to cry in love. Everyone in Nadia takes pleasure in seeing the dancing the son of Sachi Mata. Gauranga looks just like the all attractive Madan Mohan. While dancing in the rapture of Prema, Gaura's body erupts in transcendental horripilation. Standing erect, the hairs on his body appear like a golden Kadamba flowers. Mahaprabhu likes Kadamba flowers. We get, I think, in Chinese shop here. We did few times. Huge drops of perspiration fly off his body. This manifestation of divine love made his body glisten like the rising sun. Half choked words rubble within his conchal smooth neck. A sweet fragrance spreads from his lotus feet, which are decorated with toenails glowing like 10 moons. As he walks, all directions are illuminated by his splendid effulgence. In Navadvip, the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifested a unique form of divine love. Here, Gaurhari performed his Prem Nam Sankirtan festival. Roaring like a lion, he covered the globe with the sound of Krishna's holy name. Radiant as the sun, Gauranga's beautiful body dressed enchanted everyone in the universe. Dots of sandalwood adorned his moon-like lotus face. The world became charmed by tears of flowing from the nectar fountain of his eyes. His walking resembled the gait of an elephant. His graceful, cupid-like form captivated all the women in this world. In this way, this pastime, beautiful pastime. But the lesson is give up this tendency of false ego, which means give up the doership or enjoy. Always be in the position of menial servant of Guru and Krishna and his devotees. In that position, let us try to improve our service, improve our chanting, improve our hearing, improve our remembering the lotus feet of Guru and Krishna. In this way, let us perfect and go back to home, back to Godhead in this lifetime. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More तुमा बिना के दयालो जगत संसारे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया करो मोरे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया करो मोरे तुम बिना के दयालो जगत संसारे, तुम बिना के दयालो जगत संसारे, पतिता पावना रे हेतु तव अवतारा, पतिता पावना रे हेतु तव अवतारा, मोसामा पतिता प्रभु न पैबे आरा, दया करो सीतापति अद्वैता गोसाई, दया करो सीतापति अद्वैता गोसाई, तव कृपा बोले पाल चैतन्य निताई, आहा प्रभु नित्यानंद प्रेमानंद सुखी, आहा प्रभु नित्यानंद प्रेमानंद सुखी, कृपावलोकन करो আমি বড় দুঃখী, আহা স্বরূপ সনাতন রূপার গুণাত, আহা স্বরূপ সনাতন রূপার গুণাত, দয়া করো শ্রী আচার্য प्रभु श्रीनिवास, दया करो श्री आचार्य प्रभु श्रीनिवास, रामचंद्र संगामगे नरोत्तम दास, रामचंद्र संगामगे नरोत्तम दास, श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया कर मोरे। Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much for patiently listening. Dhanraj, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.